I'm here representing São Paulo. I'm gonna present to you a program that we have been developing here there in the last years. It's called Programa Tô Legal. But to talk about Tô Legal, I have to deep dive in a little bit about São Paulo because it's very specific for our reality, and it's important for you to know how São Paulo is. São Paulo is a very large city. We have twice the size of New York and 7 times the size of Buenos Aires. So we have a very extensive city. Also, we have a very populated city. About 22 million is in our metropolitan region. Within our municipality, we have 12 million, so it's a lot to deal with, which makes us the fourth largest city in the world, the biggest in the southern hemisphere. And well, the challenges are also very, very big as our city. Also the GDP accounts for 10% of the national GDP. It is in our city. The challenges that we face have the same magnitude as our city. Well, that's a phrase that sum up a little bit of the purpose of Tô Legal. With such a big city, we have a specific organization. We are organized in 32 city districts. Each of the city districts have a local administration, so it's a way for us to manage the city with the so big population. And these districts, they have specific responsibilities. Well, with the size of our city, with our population, with our large population, we have big problems. And that says about our labor force. About 30% of the workforce in São Paulo is informal, and that is a bit of a problem. But the streets are a gateway to work legally, generate income and taxes, those are the merchants that work in the streets. They are very common in our city. For many years, they didn't have any institutional connection with our city. That is super informal, and that brings a lot of problems. But working in the street also brings a social and economic inclusion, because these people who work in the merchants, they who sell products and services in the streets, they tend to be in vulnerability, and they tend to also have a hard time accessing formal education, informal jobs. So they are people who really need to have an attention. But why Tô Legal? Tô Legal is a way to formalize their work, the work of the people who work on the street, because they were invisible for many years. To get the authorization to work in the street, it was a very long process that would take up to a year. And a person who is working in the street, who has an informal job, they are just trying to make a living. And nobody can wait to a year until they have to start working. So many of those people didn't have this authorization. That was a main problem. And for this, and to get this authorization, our city, the local city, would decide on which part of the city would have this authorization. But with the Tô Legal, we have developed the Authorization Ordinance for Commerce and Service Provision. That is a fully automated system that reduces this time from 1 year to 4 days. And before, the people would have to go to city districts and face a very bureaucratic process. But now, with an iPhone, with a telephone, you can apply. You can with a map, you can indicate in the map where you want to work, from which time, which days, and this is all formalized. Also another thing, Tô Legal. Legal, the word legal means legalized in Portuguese, but it also can mean cool. So it's a word game in the name of the program. Here you have a merchant who sells fruits with the authorization. Tô Legal has 14 types of authorizations. They can be valid services, flower bench, street food, street markets. Each vending, each shop of a street market can have this authorization. So it's a very wide program that has been very constantly being improved. This is the timeline of the development. Since 2017, it was developed by the workers of the city district secretary. They would have spent many times to process all the requirements, all the requests for authorization, and for this they were thinking that the need for automation for this process. So until 2017 to 2019, the program was developed. In July 2019, it was launched for 9 types of authorizations. And then constantly there were updates for new types of authorizations. So scooter sharing for a certain area of the city, for door-to-door services, farm market, street market, and everything else. As I said, it's a very digital solution. It's super integrated and is accessible for everybody. As I said, these people who tends to work in the streets, they tend to be in a very vulnerable situation. So it has to be inclusive for them. So the whole process is fully automated. It gave back the choice to decide on where to work because, as I said, previously the city district would decide on which part of the city, which street, which sidewalk, they would have this permission. And now, the owner, the worker, who decides on what's the best place for them to work. And then they apply, and then the city district can decide on if it's gonna authorize or not. Well, I also would like to bring a data. According to Inter-American Development Bank, each real, which it means for $27, investing in digitalizing services would bring back 27 reais to our city in savings. Because you can imagine all the time that the servants would have to process all the requirements. Now this year is reduced for 4 days. So this saves a lot of time, a lot of work, and a lot of public spending. Well, as I said, these are all each points are an authorization that it was given to the workers, and there's the types. There's a flower vending. There's for newspapers and every kind of services of the city. Each color is a type of service. It's very wide. Well, as I said, it's very friendly. It's very visually attractive. It's easy to use. Because the intention is to include everybody. Well, I would finish by bringing some results. Before, in 20 years of processing in person, no automation, it was granted about 5,000 authorization for the entrepreneurs. In the 4 years of the implementation of Tolegal, more than 65,000 authorization was granted. Well, before it was an in-person, so the people would have to go to the office in person and to present those documents. Now it's 100% of online process. Now the license is granted in 4 days, and also brings those people to life because before they were legal. There was no authorization for them to work, and now we can have those data. We can know how many people are working on the streets, what they're doing, how many are they making. We can collect the taxes, and everything is brought to the light. And of course, it's less bureaucracy and more income to the people who really needs. That's it. Thank you.